Open to the public. We'll then have our superintendent's report, our correspondence and board comments, including committee reports. We will then approve a bond resolution. We will have the consent agenda. We will not be using a second executive session. And then we will adjourn the meeting. I would like to point out a correction to the agenda. On the consent agenda, letter A, Margaret Feinstein is listed on the original agenda as an elementary teacher. That has been revised to a reading teacher. Okay. Do we have any student or school presentations tonight? Any parent groups? Okay. Open to the public. Ms. Sauer.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Kim Atwell, President of the Beacon Teachers Association. I just wanted to give an update. April 30th, our Beacon Parent-Teacher Partnership Committee met, and we had a very good turnout with over 25 people in attendance, including Dr. Walkley, Mrs. Corderoni, Mrs. Kellogg, Mrs. Ashley Jackson, Dr. Sieverding. We had teachers, parents, community members, and some of our board members in attendance as well. During the meeting, our PTOs, our PTA, and our PTSO all gave reports, as well as the building reports from the principals. For those of the principals that couldn't be there, they did submit a report, so we were able to report out all of the happenings that were coming from PTO, the parent groups, as well as the administrative groups, and some teachers also reported out. Mrs. Corderoni did a presentation on the budget, which was very helpful, and Dr. Walkley gave a district update. We had the opportunity to discuss ways in which we could collectively advocate for public education and how we may better inform our parents about the new education policies, laws, and mandates which impact our school district. So from the group that we had a few weeks back when Dr. Walkley had the invitation for the open forum and we had the room filled with parents, we did have some of those folks in attendance as well. There's over close to 400 people on the distribution list. And it would have been great if everybody showed up, but we were getting close to 30, so we were pretty pleased about that. We did discuss, excuse me, establishing a subcommittee, and that's where we kind of came under our new business about this subcommittee for the purposes of developing a political advocacy campaign to kind of direct it in the right direction. So we talked about letter writing and how we could kind of advocate in that way with bringing parents and administrators and teachers together. The subcommittee will consist of an elementary and a secondary teacher, an elementary and a secondary parent, an elementary and a secondary administrator. We'll have district office administrators, and I'm not sure for them, some community members as well. So we're looking at a total of 12 people to form this subcommittee to work smaller group and then kind of report out to the bigger group as well. So on June 1st, we will have a meeting at 7 o'clock in the community room for the subcommittee to start doing some work on a smaller scale, which we will then open it up June 15th and have our last Beacon BPTP meeting for this school year, and then possibly have a meeting over the summer as well. And so we'll go from there. So I did send an email out today. I believe that the attachment kind of was a little bit kind of wacky, so I'll have to resend that. I don't know what happened, but I will resend that out to everybody. And everybody is welcome. All board members are welcome to attend the meeting. We are really trying to bring everybody together to work as one group instead of against one another, because we go nowhere when we do that. So I will continue to keep everybody updated. It's been a great endeavor that we started last year, and we hope to continue that progress moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak? Jen, to give your report.
I would. I'm going to go over there. There's something I want to show. So last week,
I attended both the Junior Honor Society and the Honor Society at the high school ceremonies, and they were very well done, and pleased to see so many students as new members of the Honor Society. And in just a minute, I'm going to project. I have the list of the Beacon athletic scholars as well, which is a great list that I'll put up there. And I have to apologize because the print is small, but hopefully we can get a close-up of that so that people can see it on the screen. I want to say congratulations to Kenya, one of our members, who was highlighted in a community publication, and talked about her as a board member, and also some of her other accomplishments and what she plans for the future. That was a great article. I'm going to talk a little bit about this week because there's an awful lot of things going on. If you don't have anything else to do this week, there are plenty of things for you to do at the schools. So tomorrow from 6:30 to 8:30, we have a parent education session, and it's for educational opportunities for our immigrant families. And our ESL teachers have put together a really nice program, and I'm hoping that we can have some families come and enjoy that program. On Wednesday at 7 o'clock, we have the Glenham Spring Concert. Thursday at 6 o'clock, we have JVF Spring Concert, and then right here at the high school for JVF. And then at 7:30, we have the high school. So you get a double session on Thursday. On Friday, that's our senior prom, but also over at Glenham, we have the mother and son dance. So if you feel like dancing and you're going to that school, then make sure that you get over there. We have another one, our last parent evening this year is May 27th from 7 to 8:30 right here at the Beacon High School. This is a session that is designed for females in grades 9 through 12. It is a program that has been developed specifically for Beacon at our request by the people who do Carly's Crusade. And it is a safety program for girls, and their parents are welcome to come. We hope that the parents will bring their daughters. And it's about safety around dating, and for those that are going on to college and the campus awareness, things they should be aware of as females in staying safe. We have a PTSO meeting on the 12th, JV Forrestal at 3:45, and at South at 7:30. On the 14th, we have the middle school PTO at 6:30. So if you have nothing to do, there's lots and lots to do at the schools. I also would like to, this is never projected. Maybe that'll do it. Okay. I also want to say that our food service director, Karen Pagano, when she was here presenting information earlier this year, she talked about some grants that she was writing, and she has been awarded those grants for a total of over $27,000. And the purpose of that grant is to bring some of our kitchens upgrades to some of the equipment in the kitchens. So we're very excited about that. In addition to that, when it got smaller. In addition to that, Anne Marie and I have been going around to anybody who asks us for a budget presentation. We're happy to come between now and the budget vote. If you'd like a personal session or a small group, we've been to some of the PTSOs. We went to the BTPT, as Ms. Atwell mentioned. We're happy to come. So let me see if I can enlarge this. I had it set before. So, there we go. Yeah.
It's quite a few names. That's good.
Okay, so we have, you gotta look fast. We have scholars the spring scholars in baseball, girls spring track, varsity girls lacrosse, varsity girls golf, varsity boys golf, varsity boys tennis, varsity softball, varsity boys spring track, JV baseball, and, not over yet, we have JV softball, modified boys spring track, varsity girls lacrosse, modified baseball, varsity softball, modified girls spring track, modified softball, JV baseball, and modified girls lacrosse. So congratulations to all of our athletes who also have maintained a certain average and met certain expectations. And that's it.
Thank you. Do we have any board comments tonight?
I just wanted to provide an update on our policy committee meeting. The policy committee met last week. We wanted to share with the board and the community that right now we're going through a change and we're reviewing all of our policies, and our policies are being renumbered because we have a new policy service that's helping us. So at this point, we have two formats online that you'll be able to see with a table of contents that will kind of show what old policy is perhaps been updated and now has a new number. So our eventual goal will be to move to the new policy book, but as policies in the old book are updated, there will be a note put in saying this policy is no longer in effect, it's being replaced by, and it'll refer to the new policy if people are looking. At our last meeting, we reviewed and discussed three policies, two of which we're bringing to the board tonight. The first one is policy 1120 on school district records. Just talks a little bit about how people could access those records, how long the records are being held by the district, et cetera. And that's for the first read tonight. The next policy is policy 9645. We're asking the board to waive the second reading of this policy and approve it tonight. This is a policy that pertains to disclosure of wrongful conduct, otherwise known as a whistleblower type of a policy. So we previously approved some policies on sexual harassment and other types of harassment, and what usually would go along with that would be a whistleblower policy to protect someone who may come forward and express concerns of harassment. So this policy, we'd like to have it approved tonight as opposed to waiting for our next meeting, which wouldn't be until June to approve a policy. And then the third policy we talked about a little bit was our code of conduct. A committee has been formed. The committee will be meeting next week. It will have people from all different cohort groups in the school community, including parents, et cetera. And then that committee will meet a few times and bring some suggested policies to the policy committee for approval. Our next policy committee meeting will be on May 26th at 6:30 p.m. at the district office, if anyone's interested in attending.
And just to update everyone, some previous policies that we had reviewed but had not yet brought, so will be in their first reading.
Right, so those four policies pertain to, two of them are, well, this one, I think I mentioned the school district records. So there's one about evaluating the superintendent and sort of the format that the Board of Education uses for that, the board's self-evaluation, and a policy on accountability. So those are policies that were already shared with the board and sent to you, but we hadn't voted on those. So that'll be one of those will be the other three we'll be reading for the first time tonight.
Do we have any other comments tonight? Okay.
I attended the Dutchess County School Board Association meeting. Two things we really talked about. One was the various districts' experiences with regards to the exams over last month. We also talked about the impact to districts of some of the new rules and regulations that came out of the approval of the governor's budget, specifically regarding APPR. And we also talked about the need for advocacy and getting something organized to, let the legislators in Albany know our displeasure with certain aspects of what they approved. So that'll be an ongoing thing. The next meeting is in June. It's the organizational meeting for the next year. Instead of taking place at the BOCES Administration Building in Salt Point Turnpike, it will be taking place in Poughkeepsie, at Poughkeepsie School. They always host that meeting, and there will be a dinner provided, so maybe that gets somebody to come with me. I will let you know more details.
Thank you.
I attended the Mid-Hudson School Study Council. Mike, thank you very much for sponsoring it. It was a bunch of superintendents from the area schools, as well as board members and other administrative staff. They recognized 2 people. One was a board member from Monroe Woodbury who served for about 34 years, and he received recognition. And another was Dr. Joan Miller, who was a longtime professor at Mount St. Mary College. She recently retired, so it was nice to attend, see what's going on in other districts as well.
I just had a question if there were any updates on the Fishkill purchase. There's just been a lot of question. Anne Marie.
Yes.
Hi.
Updates on the Fishkill purchase.
I don't have a final answer on that. We, Dr. Walkley and I met with Mr. Lacola from Fishkill, who I think they're within the time frame that they have to decide whether they're going to give a partial exemption. I don't believe it will be a full exemption, but I did participate in a conference call that they had, so Mayor Casal was there as well, and they're talking about just the policy at a state level of granting tax exemptions. So they feel that the courts are not supporting their decisions on giving the exemption portions. But they believe a portion of it will be exempt. I don't know exactly how much of the percentage will be, but what will happen is if it gets an exemption, then the amount that we would not be asking them for taxes would be re-levied across the district. So that will happen before we actually do our bills in September. So I can let you know when we get a final answer from them.
Okay, any other comments? May I have a motion? Motion to approve bond resolution?
Motion to approve a bond resolution authorizing the purchase of school buses as attached.
Second.
Comments or questions? This has to be a roll call, right, Nick?
Mrs. Angela Everett?
So do I vote yes or approve? Yeah, just yes. Yes.
Mrs. Gadsden?
Yes.
Mrs. Galbo?
Yes.
Mr. Garnett?
Yes.
Mr. Munoz?
Yes.
Ms. Patchen?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Zob?
Yes.
Mrs. Thompson?
Yes. Okay, so that bond passed unanimously. Okay, may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve consent agenda items 12.2 through 12.11.
Second. Comments or questions? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Yes. June is always an interesting time of the year because kids are happy because school is out for the summer. But in education, it's also sometimes a bittersweet celebration. And this year, we have a retirement of Frank Mulhern. And that's going to be very bittersweet for many of us. Frank has been the Director of People Personnel Services for many years, and we're all aware of the hearts and lives of our children and families that he has touched. And he's worked tirelessly to help all that he could over his years. And he's always had the student in the center of his decision making. And I'm not aware of what size shoe he wears, but I know that they're pretty big ones to fill. And there will be other times to say thank you to Frank, but I wanted to be the first on the list And so I'd like to show our appreciation by a round of applause this evening for Frank. And tonight in the consent agenda, we have the person that we believe will help us move into the future. And the board has approved the recommendation this evening for Cecilia Dansereau Rumley, and as our new Director of Pupil Personnel Services. Cecilia has been in this area for many years, working at the Duchess BOCES. She was in Guilderland as a special education teacher, and she was a coordinator of what was called the Old Cedric program, and of the regional, became the director, actually was instrumental in getting the regional center here from the state, and she was the director. And then most recently, she has come from the inclusive. She has been the inclusive education assistant superintendent in Newburgh, and she's now coming to Beacon. And so I'd like to introduce Cecilia. Would you like to say anything?
Thank you, Dr. Walkley and Board of Education members. I just want to say thank you. I'm appreciative, and I look forward to the opportunity and for us to work together as we continue the work we do on behalf of our students here in Beacon. So thank you.
Thank you. May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?